Hi, CPC family and friends. This is Robert Riccio, pastor of Christ Presbyterian Church in Temecula, here with our Friday check-in. One of the decisions that the elders and I made early on in this coronavirus experience was that while we would be providentially hindered from meeting, we would not be observing the Lord's Supper as we were online and isolated from one another. However, as I mentioned in an email that I sent out to all of our members and regular attenders, as we continue to pray and seek the Lord's guidance in how to minister to the church, we feel a time has come to pay house visits to those of you who are comfortable and willing to have myself and an elder over. As our churches have just about always practiced, as far as I can tell, when things like sickness would prohibit Christians from gathering with the saints on Sunday morning, the elders would often visit the person who was ailing in order to minister to him or her and also to celebrate the Lord's Supper with that person. We are a church of shut-ins right now, and so we long to meet with those of you who are willing to have us over so we can pray for your family and pray for you and encourage you in the gospel and celebrate the Lord's Supper with you as well. We all long to worship with one another and take the supper together as a congregation. But in the meantime, we'd love to right now sit with you and partake of the promises of the gospel that the word and sacrament contain. Reach out to me if you haven't already done so, and I'll be in touch with details as we start scheduling these meetings. Also, thank you so much for your continual prayers for our church, especially as we seek to navigate the coming weeks and the constantly changing world that we find ourselves in. We obviously face a challenge renting a public school facility as our worship space, and so we're continuing to keep our eyes peeled around our community, seeing what's maybe available for us, pursuing contacts, asking for your help to be our eyes and ears, and seeking the Lord to lead us and guide us through this time. And we want to do this in a way that looks uniquely Christian, right? Seeking the Lord for his wisdom and humility and grace as he leads us. We are a congregation with many varying opinions and frustrations about all of the coronavirus stuff. And as we pray through what reopening looks like in the coming weeks, my prayer is that we would be a congregation that exhibits to one another and exhibits to our neighbors and our friends and our family, especially those who disagree with us, that we would exhibit the fruit of the Spirit. We would exhibit Ephesians 4, where we're called to eagerly maintain the spirit of unity in the bond of peace. This Sunday, we come to the end of our sermon series on the fruit of the Spirit from Galatians 5. We've been looking at how all of these different virtues and characteristics play out, and they're described all over the Bible. This week, we come to the last fruit, which is self-control. And as we look and examine self-control, we also want to look at kind of tying up in a bow this entire series. And so we will be in what I think is the clearest and most succinct description of the Christian life, which is in 2 Peter chapter 1. This is where we see where the Christian life begins, the comfort and consolation of knowing where the Christian life ends. And then you have this exhortation sandwiched in between of what it looks like to live according to this story, being made more and more into the image of Christ by the Spirit. And it's an identity that consists surely of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. My continual prayer for you, brothers and sisters, is that even in this time of testing and difficulty, where there is still so much to be grateful to the Lord for, that we would pursue Christ as our joy and as our peace. May it be so. I love you all. I hope to at least to begin to see some of you soon. I know that we're desperately in need of human interaction. In the meantime, see you Sunday.